Hi everyone, my name's Alison Bartolo and I'm from Healthy Munchkins, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to book classes from classes when you are building a doTERRA business. So the main thing that I use to help build that is little host packs like this, basically party bags, and I'm going to go through with you the hows and the whys to do that. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. Okay, hopefully that's working. Booking classes from classes. So if you're anything like me, when you first started building a doTERRA business, you went through your warm market pretty quickly. So if you look at this image here, those people on the inside circle, they are your friends. They're the people who trust you. Even if you were selling really rubbish oils, they would probably buy them from you anyway. But they're people that you know are open to natural solutions. The people who are going to jump on board pretty quickly. And that can run out pretty fast. And then you're left with your cooler or your outer circle. Now, they're much harder to get on board. If they were to attend a class, I'm sure that they would jump on board. But sometimes it's hard to even get them there. And so there's a lot of things that you can do to build that trust, that love, that connection with that outer circle. And there's also ways of bringing people into that outer circle or into your warmer circle through all the other things that we can cover in other webinars. But going to networking groups, nourishing and nurturing those relationships with those people, giving them samples, all the things that you hopefully already know how to do. But I'm going to show you how we can look at this maybe a slightly different way. So this is again you in the middle, but you have your warm network, and by booking classes from classes, you're basically eternally working with everybody else's warm networks. So they are people who are going to show up because they love the person that's invited them and they trust them. So this is a much quicker way of expanding your network. It doesn't keep your personal enrollment so high, so you still really do need to do that work on the outside circle, but it really is a massive way of starting the snowball effect in your doTERRA business. Here's some facts for you. 84% of consumers say they are either completely or somewhat trust recommendations from family, colleagues, and friends about products and services, making these recommendations the highest ranked source of trustworthiness. 74% of consumers identify word of mouth as a key influencer in their purchasing decisions. 92% of consumers trust referrals from people they know. And 77% of consumers are more likely to buy a new product when learning about it from friends or family. So we are literally working with, we're utilizing the leading marketing strategy that is available for sales by, helping people host a class in their home and using word of mouth and all those recommendations. So how to book classes from classes? Number one, be engaging. People are going to invite you into their home. So you have to bring your passion. And as much as doTERRA is a duplicable business and, we want everything to be easy to duplicate, you do need to bring yourself, and every person needs to bring their self. If you share your experiences and your passion and your enthusiasm, then people are going to want to have you in their home and tell their friends about it. I always explain the live, share, build options at the end of every class. So when you go through the Empower Kit, you will see I used to stop basically after talking about the oils, and I used to be scared to talk about LRP, and then I used to be scared to talk about how to even get the oils, and I'd be scared to talk about the business opportunity and the living and the sharing, the building, etc. So it really is important that you do go through each and every one of those options. When it comes to the living part, I try to turn it into more of a loving part. So explain the majority of people just love and use their oils constantly, and that's great. But this is what I say about the sharing part. So it is very, very common, as you've sat here and heard what we've had to say about these oils and how they can so heavily impact homes. It is really common for people to think of friends or think of family members who could really benefit from hearing this information. So if you've got a friend whose child is struggling with focus in schools, or struggling with respiratory issues, or has recurring, seasonal threats, whatever that it might be, and you would like them to hear this information, then I can just come to your home and we can go through this again. It's another chance for you to hear the information again, and they can then hear that for themselves. So that's the way I word it. And then I go on to talk about the build as well. But at the moment, we're talking about the sharing options. And so for those people who would like to do that, who would like to host a workshop, we have these lovely little host packs for you. So my tip for these is to have the exact number that you have people. So if you have 7 people in your workshop, then I have 7 lined up behind me, like either on the kitchen bench or on the TV cabinet or wherever is behind you. I don't mention them at all during the workshop until the end. But if you imagine there's 7 people and there's 7 host packs lined up behind you, even without mentioning what they are, people have already put their name on one and they just align themselves with one and assume that's something they're going to be taking home. So I try and as much as possible confirm numbers with the host before the workshop and try and aim to have the right number there. And then a host gift. So the host packs, the little bags, are to take home immediately at the class when they book their workshop in. But on the night of that they are hosting, they receive an actual gift on the night. So the host who is hosting currently, I'm not explaining this very well, but the person who's holding the class that you are currently doing, you present their gift to them with love. Now, it is really important that it's done with love, because this is literally exploding your business, this technique. So, this is a massive way of giving back and saying thank you for allowing me to grow my business, but it's also obviously financially helping them and spreading the revolution of natural health, which is what we're trying to do. Now, I don't ever make this gift oils, and because I really want them to experience the beauty of LRP and how generous it is. And if I'm buying oils for them, I'm taking away that opportunity from them. So I actually never buy oils. I always buy something like an aromatherapy bracelet, which I've got here. So, some of these diffuser jewelry, or a box to put their oil in, or something that's going to accessorize your company, or, really boost their oil journey, but without taking away that empowerment of oils, which is all about. So what's in the bag? So there's a 1 ml pure wild orange, 1 ml pure peppermint, 1 ml pure lemon, 10 invitations, some samples, a recipe booklet, a booking confirmation slip, and information with, or like a letter or a flyer with the information on it, and some empty 1 milliliter sample bottles as well. I'm going to go through each of those for you. So there they are. There's the host packs lined up behind me so that they look like funny bags. And there's a snapshot of what is inside there. So we've got a business card, which is also my booking confirmation. I have that on the back, which I'll show you. A little flyer showing how things work. And I now have a letter, which I'll show you later in this presentation. Some samples, a recipe booklet, some empty vials, the little lemon, orange, and peppermint oils, and some invitations. So starting with the samples. Now, the samples, I usually put 2 in. So usually a toothpaste and a deep blue rub. You can use the probiotic junior, like the little sachets, or there's the shampoo and conditioner samples as well. All the samples are available from the US warehouse if you're in Australia, like I am. Now, these are great because they just give your host a snapshot of some of the other things that doTERRA do, and a little taster. I've had someone enroll purely off having tried a little On Guard toothpaste sample, so really it's amazing. And then here we've got the orange, peppermint, and lemon samples. So I usually put between 10 and 12 drops in those. And over here on the right of the screen, you've got the recipes for hosts. And in here is recipes for healthy, quick food that can be used at your workshop. And they happen to use wild orange, peppermint, and lemon essential oils that are in the pack. So not everybody does use these recipes from my experience, but I would say over 50% of people who have a host pack do actually make food that is given in these recipes. So this is fantastic for your business, because literally you will show up and the chances are that there will be food showcasing how wonderful the oils are in food. So this has worked really well for me. Now here's some of the paperwork and stuff that's inside there. So we've got invitations. Hopefully you know that giving invitations, a paper invitation, is such a strong way of inviting someone to a workshop. They're much more likely to come, and they're much more likely to respond even if they can't come. People feel like it's more like a wedding invitation, or it's something that they feel that it's not just a Facebook invite where there's been 70 other people invited and they don't really feel like it's for them. They don't really feel like they've been personally invited. So there you can see the front and the back. So just some generic images on the front. It doesn't just do whatever you like. And then on the back, just a little snapshot of what we're going to be covering in the class. And then I leave a space. So I leave a space for the host to write the guest's name and for them to sign their own name at the bottom. And they need to fill in the date, the time, the address, and their information to RSVP. It's actually really important that you do make them do a little bit of work here, because again, people are much, much more likely to respond if their name is on the invitation and it's from their friend who has signed it, and that, you know, it just feels much, much more personable than just something that could essentially be a flyer that could have been given to anyone or was picked up at a shop. With the invitations comes the sample bottles. So long as the person hosting does have their own oils or has opened their own account, I include these empty sample bottles. If they don't yet have oils, because some people will book in a workshop but they haven't got their oils yet, then I don't actually do this. You can actually give them some more of the lemon and orange samples, or some different ones that they might be able to give their friends. But ideally, again, you're empowering them and teaching them how to share the love, really. And we all know that people that have received a sample of the essential oils are way more likely to come because they've had such an amazing experience and they just want to know how to get them. So this really sets you up for people to show up. Here's my business card. So on the back of my business card, I have space for workshop date, time, and location. So if I meet someone anywhere, I can write in there the date and the time of the next workshop that I'm running for them to attend. But I can also use these in this host pack to write in the date and time of their workshop, so they can pin this on the fridge or whatever. It's just an easy, accessible little thing. It's got my contact details on. And then I have a letter. So this is a letter that really explains what's necessary for them. So what we're asking of them, which is really just to provide a nice environment and to send out the invitations, and just, what ideal guest numbers are, and they can use the food, the oils in food and that sort of thing. I make this letter do all my dirty work. So here I talk about please don't serve alcohol until afterwards, and please remind people to turn up on time and all that sort of stuff. So that the letter does all the work for me, and it also explains on the back about all the financial, the way it works with having to have the LRP set up, etc. So when people are booking in a workshop and other people are trying to enroll and you're trying to go through all that, I don't really want to be explaining, you have to place a 100-point order now and you have to have another one in the system, and make the letter do all the work for me, and I can follow up with them and make sure they understand that at a later time. So here's my tips. Number one, know your availability. Always take your diary. It's an absolute nightmare if you don't know when you're free. You need to book it in on the night. It is just absolutely imperative. Otherwise, you spend so much time going back and forth. And people say, oh, well, I want such and such to come, so I need to find out when they're available. Like, absolutely not. No, we pick a night or a day on the night. And then you say, look, if that person can't make it, we can just do another one. But just get them to lock it in then, because otherwise it just ends up not happening, or it's just too much back and forth and your time's too precious for that. So I literally, as soon as someone says that they're interested in hosting, I grab the bag and I say, great, so which nights of the week or which days of the week work best for you? And I open my diary and I'm ready to go, and they're like, oh, okay, right, this is happening now, and it just works beautifully. If you're not prepared to open your diary and for people to see when your availability is, which is totally fair enough, then you can just pre-prepare a sheet with times and dates that you are available, that you're willing to give into your doTERRA business, and then people can fill those in, or you can mark those off, and that's just a bit more of a maybe an easier way to deal with it. So other tips are thinking about the momentum in your business. So if you book in one class for every class that you run, the momentum in your business will remain the same. If you don't book in a class from a class, that leg or that network essentially dies. So it's really important that you always aim to have at least one class booked from class. If you want the momentum in your business to build, then obviously be manifesting and pushing everything, not pushing, but allowing the love in to allow that momentum to build more. Do everything in bulk. So I usually probably once a month will print everything. I will do all my samples up. The last thing you want to be doing is, printing all, your letters and all this stuff just before you're going off to a class, because I guarantee you that is when your printer will just decide it's going to go to sleep and not do anything. So yeah, just have it all ready, and then just before you have a class, you just grab the stuff and go. So keep it low cost and high value. Everything in that bag is working for me. It is working on making sure people turn up. It's working on making sure that there's going to be gorgeous food there. It's working on making sure people know what they're dealing with. It's really working for me. But the overall cost, including all the invitations being printed, which I just get done through Vistaprint, by the way, I've got to say. The business card, the bag itself, the samples, and getting all that from the US and everything. It's about $9, which is cheaper than the cost of even one oil. So it really is low cost and brings incredible value to the class. So yeah, make the bag do the work, and use it as that opportunity to educate the host. So that is it. I hope that you found that helpful. If you want to see some of the wording that's on the letter, etc., you can jump onto my website, so healthymunchkins.com.au. There is a workshop section at the bottom of that. There's a poster workshop, and in there I have the same information. You're welcome to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or email me hello@healthymunchkins.com.au. And yeah, I hope you found that very useful. Okay, bye.